Hi, today I want to talk about the most urgent economic problem India faces in 2025. It's not inflation, not public debt, not trade deficits. It's unemployment, and more specifically, the worrying trend of jobless growth. The problem: India is among the world's fastest growing economies, but economic growth isn't creating enough jobs. According to a Reuters poll from 2024, most economists say unemployment is the country's number one economic challenge. Here's the paradox: GDP is rising, but people aren't finding jobs. The official unemployment rate for people aged 15 plus was about 3.2% in 2023 to 2024. Sounds good, right? But it hides the truth. Many have given up looking for work and aren't even counted. Independent think tanks estimate the real figure is close to 7 to 8%. Worse, underemployment is rampant, especially in rural India. Around 46% of Indians still work in agriculture, even though it contributes just 15% of our GDP. That's a clear sign of low productivity and disguised unemployment. In urban India, the story isn't better. 1.5 million engineers graduate every year, but up to 80% are unemployable due to outdated curriculum and lack of practical skills. Degrees, but no direction. Let us talk about a bit of history to understand how we got here. Let's rewind a bit. Unlike East Asian nations that move people from farm to factories, India skipped a true industrial revolution. Manufacturing has hovered at just 15% of GDP over the past 30 years. Agriculture remained the fallback option for nearly half our population. In the 2000s, we celebrated our demographic dividend. Millions of Indians people entering the workforce. The opportunity was huge, but the jobs didn't show up. In 2014, the government even promised 20 million new jobs per year, but the numbers didn't match the promise. And instead of creating productive employment, we relied on fallback schemes like Manrega, meant to offer rural families basic work, useful in crisis, but not a long term solution. Without a large scale job creation, the demographic dividend could soon become a demographic disaster. Why it matters? Here's India adds over 10 million job seekers every year. If we don't generate enough quality employment, we risk inequality, social unrest, and missed economic potential. Unemployment isn't just a statistic, it's a measure of human dignity, stability, and aspiration. If we can solve this, we unlock inclusive growth, a stronger middle class, a more secure India. What can be done? Now, how do we fix this? Here are five key solutions from my side, backed by experts and economic surveys. First, boost the labor intensive manufacturing and exports. Textiles, food processing, these industries create lots of jobs. We need to reclaim ground lost to Vietnam and Bangladesh. Invest in education and skills. India spends just 3% of GDP on education, half of what it should spend. We must double down on school quality, expand vocational training, and ensure industrial and skilling. From plumbing to youth, from plumbing to coding, our youth need practical skills. Support small businesses and startups. SMEs are India's job engine, but most remain stuck at micro scale due to red tape, trade gaps, and outdated regulations. Simplifying GST, easing compliance, and providing mudra loans and mentoring can unleash millions of local entrepreneurs. This can yield results in 1 to 3 years. Public works and infrastructure. In the short run, public investment creates direct jobs. Build build roads, railways, houses, green projects. These don't just build assets, they employ people. Labor and business reforms. Let's be honest, rigid labor laws have made formal job creation difficult. India is moving towards simplified labor codes, but implementation is key. Simultaneously, we must improve ease of doing business, especially for MSMEs. With political will, we can reach 7 to 8 million new jobs annually by 2030. So, how do we implement this challenge? How do we implement the solutions? Next 12 months, first, fast track incentives for job rich sectors, fill vacant public posts, strengthen Manrega. 1 to 3 years, factories open, startup scales, skills ramping up. 3 to 5 years, India hits its job creation stride, 7 to 8 million jobs per year. Beyond 2030, continuing reforming education, industry, and innovation to maintain job rich growth. But it's not that simple. There are barriers. Funding is tight. Education infrastructure need sustained spending. Skill mismatch is real. Reforming education takes time. Global headwinds, recession or trade or trade shocks could hurt export jobs. Politics, labor reforms can be controversial. Social constraints, low female workforce participation, informality, and regional inequality makes things harder. So here's the bottom line. India's job crisis is real and urgent, but we have faced challenges before. Just like we tackled food security with Green Revolution, we now need a job revolution. With clear policies, strong leadership, and the energy of India's youth, we can turn this crisis into our greatest opportunity. Let's not waste this demographic dividend. Let's build an economy where jobs are not a privilege, but a promise.